Welcome back from the rest hold. It's time for us to get into the main event for this episode, and that's going to be the mailbag questions you guys have sent in for March 2016. So let's start getting right into it here with some of the questions from Bobby Lesnar G86. First question is, how would you feel if Triple H retained the title at WrestleMania if it was not the main event? Peyton, what do you think?
If it wasn't the main event?
Mm-hmm.
It would never happen because Triple H is in it.
Well, theoretically, if they decided they were going to go with...
because Triple H is in it. So it's plain and simple. Triple H has way too much control. He's going to put himself in the main event, all right? He put himself in the main event after Hogan and The Rock. He put himself in the main event against Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. It's the main event. On top of that, they're crowning their new jewel with frickin' Roman Reigns. It's the main event.
Galen, your thoughts?
I'd be okay if he retained either way. Arguing whether or not it's the main event, I think that's irrelevant to the fact that if Triple H retains, I think that'd be cool. I mean, I don't think they're necessarily going to go with that, but I'd be okay with that.
Jerry, your thoughts? Unmute the mic first.
Stop drinking Gatorade.
Ooh, I'm so sorry about that. But yeah, it's all good and hood if he wanted to bring out that shovel, bury Roman, and retain the title. I have no problem with that. He's done it before. Why not do it now? He hasn't even hit his prime yet. You can really do it whenever he wants to, whenever Vince dies. So I give it a thumbs up if he did it. If he didn't, still a thumbs up. I like Roman Reigns as well.
But I don't think having Triple H retained would be burying Roman Reigns.
Nah, he's going to bury him with the shovel.
If anything, it's just building him up more when he does finally win it from him.
He won't win it from him. He's going to...
I think he's got a shot.
His name's not Kane.
I'm pretty sure he's going to win.
I'm pretty sure that main event's going to be a buried alive match, and he's going to use that shovel.
Not only do I think that this is a guarantee that it's the main event, but like as Peyton said, Roman Reigns is winning it. But if Triple H were to retain, I would rather it not be the main event. I think that WrestleMania, if you have a heel champion going in and they keep the title and that's the main event, it's kind of a sour note. But then if you also think Roman Reigns getting booed is a sour note, it might just be a better option for them to go with a different main event if that were the case. Or even if Roman Reigns does win, maybe it'd be better to go with a different main event.
Okay, well, first off, I have 2 points to make here. 16 years ago, WrestleMania 2000, Triple H walked out as the heel champion at the end of the show.
Yep.
Let that throw out there. I'm also calling for a double turn in this, so I think we're going to see Triple H as a babyface by the end of the show. But I will tell you, there is one case now that I may think that this is not the main event. And the only reason for that being is with Vince McMahon's announcement he made this Monday.
With the whole Undertaker retirement kind of thing?
Yeah. If this ends up being Undertaker's retirement, maybe they would put that at the end of the show. But Triple H is still losing, so.
Either way, it's not going to happen. Yeah. Question number 2. Will John Cena win the WWE title at some point this year? If so, when? And who will he beat for the championship?
The champion.
I don't think he's winning it. I wouldn't be shocked at all because he's John Cena, but I think he's more likely to win that U.S. title again. I think that they're going to keep this on Roman Reigns, and if they're going to have him feud with anybody, he's going to be a babyface, he's going to feud with heels. So John Cena probably won't get a chance to do that, and if anybody else, babyface, main event type of guy, would end up getting a chance at that title, it's got to be Dean Ambrose over John Cena. But if he does win, I think it'll happen like a little bit after SummerSlam, and the champion probably would be a heel Roman Reigns. But I don't think that's happening. Kalen?
That's what I was thinking too. I think Cena will be in the main event picture. I think he will try for the title, and I think it will be against a heel Roman Reigns. I think it's going to be more towards the end of the year. I'd say like TLC even. As far as whether he should win it, I mean, I always like seeing Cena with the title. I love John Cena as champion, but I don't think he needs it right now. We need to stir things up a little bit more. Roman Reigns needs to get the heel heat. So I think putting the belt on Cena at this time doesn't make much sense. Maybe towards the end of the year it would make more sense, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Drew, you think he's winning it?
If I was a betting man, I totally would bet on him winning at some point this year, just because of the track record of he wins a title, a world title, quite a lot. So if he were to, it wouldn't come as a surprise. I actually looked up to see if there was any websites who had betting odds on that, and they don't. But I will say, I will give it a yes, just because I want to bet against Cena winning a title at some point, especially if everyone keeps on dropping like flies the way they do. I mean, if the Roman Reigns experiments fails and he doesn't become the big baby face, and you never know, they might not give the title to Dean Ambrose as quickly as we would hope so. They might always just put it back on the guy who's been the face of the company for all these years. So definitely would bet for him winning a title.
Well, that brings up another point. We don't even know when John Cena's coming back.
Yeah, but I think he's got a shot. I mean, it's John Cena. He could say he wants a shot at that title at any given time, and no one would be like, oh, this is bullshit. No, it's John Cena. He's the face of the company. So at any point, they could put the title on him, and people will be fine with it. A lot of people will hate it, but I would love it. Kind of like with Kalen.
Caitlyn?
I said Kalen. It's
That
better
sounded
than
like Caitlyn.
Bruce.
Yeah.
Peyton, do you think Cena's winning that belt?
Not this year. I think they have too much else they're trying to accomplish. I think a big money match is eventually Cena and Roman for a title. And I'll tell you, if Undertaker's retiring this year, you don't need to do that Undertaker's retiring this year, you don't need to do that Cena Undertaker match.
You really don't need to do the Hogan one either.
Well, shit, you could. If he's on his way back in the company, you could put that together. Hogan Undertaker match to finish off his career? That's great. No, you don't need to do that Cena Undertaker match next year. You're going to have something for him to do. That would be the money match to do.
You know what they could do? They bring Hogan back. They convince Shawn to come out of retirement. Get either Stone Cold or The Rock out. And you have John Cena, and then you get Roman Reigns. And it's a face from each generation.
It's a tag team that John Cena and Roman Reigns beat them all in a gauntlet. And then they just give the finger to the fans. Just piss everybody off. Let's see. Another question here from Bobby Lesnar is, if Dean Ambrose or Roman Reigns turns heel, who would WWE turn and why? I'd rather see Roman Reigns turn than Dean Ambrose, but I got a feeling if they're going to do anything, they would do the Dean Ambrose turn. Because they've made mistakes like that before, and they could easily make that mistake again. But we've been saying for a long time, Dean Ambrose is so much better off as a babyface right now. He's so much more over with the crowd. And if you are going to have somebody like a Seth Rollins return, he's going to get cheered. But it all depends on what they want to do with him, I think. And we might not see either of these two turn this year. But Peyton, what do you think? If either of them are going to turn heel, who would WWE turn? Unmute Drew's mic.
I'm thinking about, between Roman and Dean.
Yeah.
Why is this something everyone has to see? Why can't these guys just be friends? Why is everyone trying to draw a wedge in between the two of them?
You know enough about this company to know that friendships don't last forever.
Well, why can't it? Why can't they do something different? Everyone complains, oh, everything's always the fucking same. Well, I want to see the same fucking thing between these guys. No, leave these guys as friends forever. Until the bitter, bitter end. These guys survived the Shield. These guys survived Evolution. These guys survived Seth Rollins turning his back on them. These guys should stay friends forever.
Double heel turn. They both plan on messing with the fans, and they act like they're going to turn on each other. Then they go, we got you guys.
You know what would be interesting if one of them did turn heel, but each one of them sees the value of being friends with each other, so they see past it, but one's still a heel and one's still a face.
That'd be kind of cool.
I mean, it would be a weird interaction with the crowd, but see, there's something new. Bam. So yeah, you can turn one of them heel. They'll be friends.
It's like, say Roman Reigns turns heel, he gets all real cocky about being the champion or something like that, and Dean Ambrose is like, you're acting kind of like a dick, but not to me, so it's okay.
Hey, you're a dick. I'm a dick too.
You know who kind of had that dynamic was Mysterio and Guerrero. until they actually went into feuds with each other, they could be heel and face, and they would still be kind of like buddies.
That's true.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts you guys have on this one?
Yeah, well, regarding this, I mean, it's been said a million times. I agree. I think they should turn Reigns heel. I'm hoping sooner than later. I think that's the only way to get him over big time as a babyface. You know, a lot of people make the comparison to The Rock. I think the way to get him over big time as a babyface is if he first has a strong heel run, and then you can turn him back face. Because right now, just pushing as a babyface, it's not working the way they want it to. And I don't think it's going to if they just keep going the same way they're doing. And turning Dean heel, I don't think makes much sense right now.
Mm-hmm.
So as much as I would like to see that, WWE is probably going to screw it up and turn Dean heel. So
I'm worried that they're going to do that.
Yeah, I would predict that, but I think it makes more sense to do it the other way. And to say it makes more sense doesn't mean that I'm going to say, oh, that's so predictable, I hate this. No, I like when they do stuff that makes sense once in a while. I like being swerved once in a while too, but as long as it serves the greater storyline. And I think Roman turning heel serves the greater storyline.
Now, the last question from Bobby Lesnar is on the same kind of path. He says, is there any way that Roman Reigns can get cheered at WrestleMania? Peyton, you were thinking that we're getting a double turn. How do you think they're going to do a double turn? Just the crowd goes along with it and that's about it? Or do you think they're actually going to like...
Well, it's going to be a double turn as soon as they come out. But I think they're just going to play up to it as it goes. You're going to see Triple H just having the heart of someone who wants to win. And you're going to see Roman Reigns slowly being more and more of a dick, like we've been seeing him be the last couple weeks. Seeds are being planted.
Do you think that there is a way for them to actually get them to cheer Roman Reigns? I can't see any option.
They've already tried putting The Rock with him, and that didn't help.
Right.
You know what they could do? You could just have him punch a kid in the crowd.
He could maybe pass out chocolate milk to every single person in the arena on his way down to the ring.
Chocolate.
Well, I think it's interesting they don't have him going through the crowd.
You know what they could do? They could hook up with Warner Brothers, and they could get the Joker's laughing gas, and they could spray it throughout the entire arena, so that everyone gets those permanent smiles on their faces.
And then everybody's going to be like, oh, this crowd is so dead. Callum, I'm reading the next thing. Kaylin.
Yes.
Or Caitlin. Or Brian.
Either one of those.
Is there any way for Roman Reigns to be cheered?
Well, we've seen recently that when Roman Reigns gets more aggressive, the crowd really responds to that. So, I agree. I also think a double turn is the way to go for the main event of WrestleMania here. But as far as how you get there, I think he'll get a positive response from the crowd if he just kind of goes wild and goes crazy and is just more aggressive than we've ever seen him before, to the point of turning heel. And I think that'll get him over with the crowd. The crowd wants to see that. Some people like the Roman Reigns babyface. He's getting a mixed reaction. But I think if he clearly, shows no lack of, or he shows no remorse, and he's just, ruthless aggression, I think then he's totally going to get cheered. Not as much as they want it yet, but that's on the right path.
What do you think, Drew?
Probably just have to do a sort of what the fuck moment. Just have him do some really insane shit, and hopefully the crowd will be like, oh my god, this is awesome. Other than that, the aggressive thing might work, but I think they might be screwed with Reigns just for the better part of his career now. People are just gonna hate him now just for the sake of hating him. There's still people that hate John Cena just for the sake that he's John Cena. I think fans will be like that with Roman Reigns as well, so he might get booed no matter what.
I don't think so. I don't think his career is screwed up. I think a year and a half from now, less than a year and a half from now, you could have him turn heel, get over big time as a heel, and then have him turn babyface and be over huge as a babyface. I think they could do that in a year and a half, and I think it'd be successful.
You want to know what would help in that period of time? If he could learn how to cut a promo correctly.
Well, yeah.
Certainly
if
wouldn't
he
hurt.
Learned to expand his wrestling moves, albeit I will say that he's not a bad wrestler. He's definitely not one of the best ones, and a heel Roman Reigns wouldn't really help his wrestling ability a lot because him doing headlocks.
He's actually a very good wrestler.
Yeah, no.
If you think about some other people who have been positioned in his spot time, compare him to John Cena around the same time when he was coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And he is a far better wrestler than Cena was at this period.
That is true. And
Cena may have had better personality, but they're basically on par when you even it all out.
But also think about when Roman Reigns was most over with the Shield. He wasn't going out there cutting these long promos and making jokes and stuff. He had a few words and he kicked ass.
Yeah,
Right.
but here's
And
the
the
thing:
crowd
Roman
liked that.
Reigns wasn't over. The Shield was over. It wasn't just him.
Roman Reigns was the most over person of the Shield at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And that really translated to where he is now.
Well,
Yeah,
some other...
he's in the main event of WrestleMania 2
No, I
years
meant
in a
from
row.
the fan reaction of everyone loving him. I understand that he is a 2-time world champion now, but
It's weird to think that, isn't it?
what? That he's a 2-time instead of a 1-time?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Any a time.
Let's move on here. Callum Wiggins has 2 questions for us. Number 1, if you had the ability to remove somebody from the Hall of Fame, who would it be and why? Peyton, who do you think? Who would you take out?
Boy. Let's take out anyone who sold their fucking ring, because they're ungrateful bastards.
Did we ever figure out who was supposed to be the one selling the ring on Pawn Stars?
Didn't it come out that it was Sonny?
That would make sense.
I thought they said Paul Bearer's ring.
Oh, like his kids sold that?
Yeah, that's my understanding.
Well, you really can't take Paul Bearer out for that one.
Nah.
No.
No, well, I'm looking at anyone like a Billy Graham, or like a
Didn't Abdullah the Butcher?
Abdullah the Butcher did too, but he also was in a bad situation. Like, he was going in for some major medical procedures and he needed the money for it, so that's why he sold it. So I can maybe cut him some slack. Like, that sucks. That's really sad. In fact, I thought WWE has something where they cover those kind of things for people now. So I don't really know what the deal with that was. I know Jake the Snake had to get a big crowdfunding thing for something he got done. So maybe not.
Hopefully if there was a situation where someone had to sell their ring because of medical bills or a procedure like that, it would be nice if WWE would be like, hey, buddy, here's a new ring.
Or that they would buy it back from them to be able to put it in their Hall of Fame when they do that.
Well, what's a beautiful story is the story of Ric Flair, where his son Reed died and he put the Hall of Fame ring that he had in the casket with him. And then the next big event where they saw Rick, they presented him with a new ring to replace it.
That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Tell you what, though, that's actually one of my main people that I would get rid of from the Hall of Fame.
Ric Flair?
I think it's ridiculous he's a 2-time Hall of Famer.
No.
He should be in there one time.
Here's the thing. There will be more 2-time Hall of Famers. He was just the first one. And if there was going to be anybody who was the first one to do that, it's Ric fucking Flair.
I think nobody should be a 2-time Hall of Famer.
Well, you're going to get very disappointed over the next few years because Bret Hart's going to be a 2-time Hall of Famer soon. I would be surprised if they find a way to make Shawn Michaels a 2-time Hall of Famer. Triple H will probably end up being a 3-time Hall of Famer.
Well, just to prove a point, he'll be a 16-time.
Hogan will end up being a 2-time Hall of Famer.
Well, he's a 2-timer.
Jimmy Snuka, what about him?
Ooh.
Yeah, I was considering that one.
It's a sensitive case right now because he's going through that whole dementia thing too. So how much can you really berate the guy?
But it doesn't excuse anything he's done.
Well, he never should have been put in to fucking begin with. He should have been fired from the company as soon as all that shit went down. If that whole thing had happened at the same time the Benoit shit happened in 2007, that would have been a nearly equal tragedy. But because news was so easy to stop the presses and keep things from happening and being publicized, it was able to get away with it.
Is there a way to make it so that Lanny Poffo could never go into the physical Hall of Fame?
So he can never go in?
So he can go and then take him out.
Yeah, I guess that's about it. Or because he probably holds on to the fact that, hey, my brother Rick, he's in the Hall of Fame.
My brother Ric Flair.
I don't know. I want to see what you guys, if you agree or not. One of my opinions when I read this question, not to diminish the older guys and what they've accomplished in their careers.
Don't you say Coco Beware.
No.
We're not fucking having this argument.
But I think the WWE Hall of Fame should be reserved for individuals who had accomplishments in the WWE or WWF. So if I had to remove somebody, I'd probably pick somebody older who made their mark back in the territory days and not in WWF or WWE. I mean, nobody particular is coming to mind, but I know they've inducted a lot of guys like that. And like I said, not to diminish what they've done, great performers, but this is the WWE Hall of Fame, not the Wrestling Hall of Fame.
I could see an argument for WCW and ECW people, but outside of that, I think that kind of makes a little sense.
Well, what makes them any better than any other ones? Because they're all just stuff that got bought by WWE.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
But they got bought and kind of absolved.
What, because they got bought during our lifetimes? Is that the only reason it's better?
No, if you go with who was the guy that they inducted a couple years ago, and he was he never wrestled in WWE or any of those other ones. Yeah, he never wrestled in any of them, did he?
Mm-hmm.
He wrestled in WCW.
Oh, okay, never mind then.
Or I'm looking through the list here. Bob Armstrong. I don't know.
Is he world class?
I think guys who
You're gonna complain about world class, then we can't be putting in the Freebirds.
I don't know. It's a tricky argument.
I hear what you're saying. It's really subjective over what the WWE Hall of Fame even means. They're putting in celebrities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
what the merits of exactly being put into the Hall of Fame are is completely vague. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's just a ceremony to celebrate people from the past. That's all it is. I think people get way too concerned about the criteria for this. It's just an honor to say thank you for all the years of service that you did. And that's it. That's all it is.
Drew, is there anybody that you would take out?
I already told you, Lanny Poffo.
Just Lanny Poffo.
I mean, the Jimmy Snuka, I think it's clearly obvious that he's what?
He's got a snooka and a snick.
Snooka.
I'm just saying it's almost pretty obvious that he's guilty and that his whole case that's going against him right now. So I know they've kind of been pushing him away. They took him off the website, and they're probably not going to mention him going forward for the most part, unless some miracle happens where they drop all the charges against him. But I would say him, but there's not many cases in other Hall of Fame. I know there are cases, but there's not a lot of times where people are taken out of Hall of Fames for the sake of taking them out because of stuff that happened outside of the sports realm. Now, granted, this is the WWE. It's a performance. It's a little different than a sports Hall of Fame. So it's a different class or criteria of what we judge people on to make it into the Hall of Fame. So I really don't have much to say on taking people out. Unless it's a situation where someone kills their family and then themselves, then maybe. I mean, Snuka killed, what was it, his wife, girlfriend?
It was a girlfriend.
I'm
not sure if it was fiance. I'm not sure what the level that was exactly, but it was girlfriend.
Yeah. So it's a tricky situation, but I keep it to Lanny Poffo and possibly Snuka.
Second question from Callum is Hall of Fame related as well. He says, outside of Chris Benoit, because that's a pretty murky area. Murky. It's getting a reference.
I saw what he did there.
Who do you think is someone that may never enter the Hall of Fame in spite of being worthy of it? The first thing that popped into my mind was Lawrence Taylor. He should go into the Hall of Fame for the celebrity wing, but no fucking way he's going in.
Wait, why wouldn't he go in?
He got arrested and he's in jail for pedophilia or something.
Oh.
So it's no way are you going into this fucking
Hall of Fame. I mean, I wouldn't discount that necessarily. You give that another 10 years, that'll brush over. I'm fucking serious, dude. They put stuff like that in the
No, I'm laughing because it is true. It could be a possibility.
People usually
especially sports stars. Sports stars get I think Drew knows sports stars get away with fucking murder all the time.
Yeah, I mean, there's O.J. Simpson is the biggest one that people usually throw out there, and he's still in the Hall of Fame. But I will say, I believe if you're not touching a tot, then I think people will forget after so many years. But if you're caught, child molestation charges or stuff along those lines, kind of like Jerry Fogel, I don't think people are gonna forget about that too soon. So
didn't Jared Fogel get his ass beat recently?
Yeah, that's why I was bringing it up. See, that I will not be surprised if he ends up getting killed while he's in jail, just because people really care about that kind of shit. So
who was that basketball player that had like domestic assault and they made a joke about it on WWE, and then that guy got in trouble?
Oh,
Was that Kobe?
No, yeah, it was Kobe Bryant. He there was a charge against him that he raped a girl in a hotel, like AW said. But
He's unstoppable.
yeah, he's unstoppable. But all
wasn't
Kobe
that
had
an NXT special? Maybe it was named after him.
they
God.
they settled it out of court. He just shaved his head, changed his jersey number. So, and people usually forget.
Did he think he was going to get away? Like they wouldn't notice it's him anymore?
I don't know. They changed the look about him. He shaved his head and changed his number from 8 to 24. So that crazy shit has happened. But the one person who I was thinking of that they might not put in the Hall of Fame just for what they do, probably China. And I know one of you guys disagree with me, right?
That's actually who I was thinking. China was my pick because she's the 9th wonder of the world. I mean, it was her time in DX. She had the IC title. She held the IC title. She was in a Royal Rumble. I don't think what she did after she left the company should necessarily disqualify her. Apparently, the powers that be do, but I don't think what she did afterward was bad enough to disqualify her.
And when it comes to China, she was a trendsetter. She was a big name in the Attitude Era. So I believe if you stand out then, you definitely deserve a spot in the Hall of Fame. But people are weird about pornography and shitting on the company. But, other members of DX have come back since then. So it's weird. I wouldn't be surprised if she goes in someday. It might be a case of, let's wait 20 years for her to stop being weird. And maybe they'll do it.
You know who I could see not going in who deserves it, and they could not go in just because they would, forget about him more than anything? Jim Johnston.
Oh.
We keep talking about him, and
they'll put him in. He thinks he's still working. That's the kind of person I can see them putting in when he's done.
Maybe. I hope so. That guy deserves to be in there.
I'm just checking to make sure. Vince's dad's in the Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Time ago.
I was making sure because I didn't remember when they inducted him, but I was just checking to make sure.
I think he was in the second class.
Oh, okay.
I think Andre was the first class, and then the second class was his dad and fucking Don Morocco or some shit. I don't know.
Peyton, anybody else stand out to you? Somebody who should go in but won't?
I could think of a lot of you talk about backstage people. Someone who came to mind was Vince Russo.
Oh, that's a good one.
Vince Russo, he gets that poor guy. He gets so much slander and hate, and a lot of it may be deserved. But his influence was so important too on both sides of the spectrum.
He made that AJ Styles character.
The writing he did during the Attitude Era, even if he needed that filter of Vince McMahon, they were a fucking team. Those guys together made fucking magic. And then he went over and he did what he did with WCW. It made some stories. So I think he's someone who deserves to go into there as well. Any top name referee, I don't know if they'll ever show love to referees. I feel like
that'll be really sad if they don't.
Mm.
I could see maybe Earl Hebner not getting in, but holy shit, if Charles Robinson or Mike Chioda doesn't, then when they retire and after a couple of years, they got to be sitting at home going, all right, waiting for that call.
I'm gonna be really upset if Justin Roberts doesn't get in the Hall of Fame someday.
I don't think he will.
I don't really care about that one.
Lillian will, for sure.
Lillian will, absolutely.
That sucks.
As long as she doesn't have a bad falling out with them and is well, yeah, I'm going to go have a big singing career again.
And they're like, yeah, all right, let's see if that works the last time.
Name that I was thinking of. How about Jim Cornette?
Jim Cornette could be a toughie one, yeah.
I think they'll mull it over someday.
Someone who I've always thought that it's possible if he ends up leaving on bad terms again and never really reconnects. I wouldn't be surprised if that would have happened to Paul Heyman at some point.
No, I think he's going to get next year, I bet.
Yeah, he's
really
good.
Next year? Yeah, but I'm just saying if a situation were to happen where he leaves on bad terms, I
think they're at an understanding now.
I hope so. That would be an instance where it'd be really sad if something like that were to happen. But
and I think they have their best relationship they've ever had.
Yeah, I think so too. And now that he's not a writer, I think that there's it's water under the bridge, and they kind of realize that they would butt heads because they were doing the same thing, and now they're not. And
now he's
plus having him in the Hall of Fame while he's still an active advocate, I think would be even better because then he could throw that around. It's I'm a Hall of Fame advocate. You know how he likes to throw stuff
For the
like that
future
around.
Hall of Famer.
Yep. So that would play into his character.
I got one more big one that, honestly, I can't believe this isn't someone they've tried to get on. Maybe they have. But you want to talk about big people behind the scenes that deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, that are involved with wrestling and are responsible for huge influences on it. Ted Turner.
Ooh, yeah, that.
I mean, you got a guy like Eric Bischoff, and he will go in. There's no doubt Eric Bischoff is going
Yeah,
in.
Bischoff will go in, but Turner, that's
Turner.
tough.
Like, we've seen Eric Bischoff and Vince McMahon hug on stage. We need to see Vince McMahon and Ted Turner hug on stage.
That'd be a good celebrity induction.
Mm-hmm. You could have him inducted by billionaire Ted.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they would have to get Bischoff to do that, for sure.
I don't think he would have anything nice to say.
Even better. Even better to do it then. Who would induct Vince Russo, by the way?
You should just make it Vince McMahon or something like that.
No, you can't. You see, you can't just use Vince for every fucking person. Like, Vince has to be something really, really special.
Yeah, like Austin.
For Russo, I mean, shit, you could do anybody for Russo that was a character during the Attitude Era that worked with him, like a Jericho, although I think Jericho fucking hates him.
Yeah, I don't think Jericho's really going to be the go-to guy.
Well,
I was going to say Stone Cold, maybe.
I was gonna say Austin might be the best guy for it. I think they have a really good relationship too. They're on each other's podcasts a lot.
That'd be interesting to see. Nobody's really like off the table unless they do something like Benoit. So you never know. Let's get into Peter's questions.
That wasn't a problem.
That's true. Peter's questions. We have, let's see, one of them is another one for the Hall of Fame. And actually, we have a definitive answer about this one, too. He said, do you think Jesse from the Jesse and Festus tag team will induct the Freebirds because his father is associated with that? And they actually announced today the New Day is going to be inducting the Freebirds.
I think Jesse's going to show up and induct him still.
I think we saw that one coming a while ago.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we discussed it on one of the shows.
I think we said this last week as well.
We figured that it was like the go-to tag team because, I mean, it's a Freebird rule. They've got the Freebird rule thing going on with them. They're the tag champs. It makes sense. Unless there was like somebody who was like really hardcore, like associated with them with, you know, you lost all the Von Erichs and stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say it'd be great if there were more Von Erichs alive, but
right.
Even so, they're all such old fogies. Like, no one cares about that anymore. Like, good to try out the New Day.
Yeah. His other question, though, he says, what do you guys think is going to be the actual main event of WrestleMania? We kind of talked about that a little bit already. That we all kind of agree it's going to be Triple H versus Roman Reigns, right?
I think it should be Taker versus Shane just because of the implications, but it will be Reigns versus Triple H.
His backup question, though, when it came to that, though, was, what do you think of the idea of The Rock making an interference in the Triple H versus Roman Reigns match, and whether that should lead to Triple H versus Rock at WrestleMania next year or Roman Reigns versus The Rock at WrestleMania 33? First off, I gotta say, I don't think he's making an interference, but if he is going to show up in any match, it's going to be that one. I mean, we sort of had a little bit of like a Rock and Triple H thing last year, so this might be their playoff of that. And he's got ties to Roman Reigns, so it makes sense. But I wouldn't really put too much on him doing that. And if he does, shit, I would rather see Roman versus Rock than Rock versus Triple H. So you want to do this tied back into that other question? If you want Triple H to retain, that would be pretty sweet to see The Rock come out and screw over Roman Reigns. Fans wouldn't know how the hell to react to it, other than cheering. But that would be cool. I'd be interested. Not going to happen.
I know. I have an idea, though. You know what you could do? You know how we talk about this double turn with Triple H and Reigns? You always have The Rock interfere with the Reigns, and they just go heel a little bit. You know, Triple H goes a little bit face. I mean...
What the fuck are you talking about?
I mean
you know, it does a little bit.
You can interfere a little bit with the reins and the... like with the reins of the horse? Like he's going to go like, oh, let me just mess with these a little bit.
Well, you know... It's a Roman Empire, which really still annoys me still, but...
Yo, did you see the tagline for the main event is the King of Kings versus the Roman Empire?
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
It's much better than the King of Kings versus the Reigns, you know.
Yeah, the Reigns.
Anyways, as I was getting to my main point, a lot of people hate Ronda Rousey now. So
Is that what the main point of what you were saying there was?
yeah, you just have The Rock and Rousey be heel while
You gotta read between the
Stephanie
lines,
be
Mike.
face. I think he's got a shot.
I think this is the world's best advertisement for not drinking Gatorade.
Well, Peyton or Kalen, either guys, do you think The Rock is going to end up making any kind of interference in the match?
What?
The Reigns, Is The Rock going to interfere?
I say no. The Rock does not interfere in this match. And this kind of ties into what we were talking about earlier. I think Mike may have been hinting around or maybe explicitly said it earlier. I'm expecting a double turn. I'm expecting Triple H to be face by the end of the match and Roman Reigns to be the heel champ. And I think part of how that's going to be accomplished is by interference, but not from The Rock, but from the Wyatt family. And then that'll lead into something versus a face Triple H versus the heel Wyatts. And then Roman Reigns will have the title, and he can go on to face whoever the next big baby face would be, Dean Ambrose, maybe.
Peyton, any chance Rock's interfering?
Highly unlikely. Highly unlikely. I'm pretty sure The Rock is just there to hype up the crowd at the beginning of the show and then give daps to Flo Rida when he's going out for his performance, and that's it.
Flo Rida's performing?
It is his house.
Yeah, he's got the theme song.
Man. God damn it.
I do like that song, though.
Yeah, that song's catchy as fuck. I'm perfectly fine with him. But you know what? The last time he had a performance, it wasn't too bad either. He came out in that Tron cycle. It's pretty cool.
As long as he beats the shit out of Heath Slater. Apparently that happens all the time. Let's see. Sean actually sent a question, and he specifically was like, can I send one in for the mailbag? And I was like, well, I don't know. It depends what it is. If it's terrible, then no. But it's kind of an interesting one. He says, if you were on life support, would you want them to pull the plug? Fuck no. I am absolutely afraid to die. I would rather be on life support practically forever in the hopes that I can end up waking up out of it or whatever than for somebody to just kind of give up. But if it turned out that I was basically brain dead, then by that point you're not really living. But too paranoid about it for them to ever have a DNR or something. But Kalen, what do you think? Would you get them to pull a plug?
It would depend on how bad I am. If I'm in a vegetative state and there's absolutely no possible way I'm coming out of it, I would say probably yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where I'm not afraid of death. I'm more afraid of pain or having a really shitty quality of life, So, if I'm still able to make conscious decisions about it, I would do the Kevorkian thing if my situation were terrible enough. But I would want to have the say. If I was unable to say and there was no way I was coming out of it ever, yeah, go ahead and pull the plug. There's no point in me being around.
Peyton?
I think one of the worst lives you could have is living inside of an iron lung. So, if I was confined to something like that, just chop my head off at the end of that iron lung. Just don't even bother.
Not go out with any kind of humane way, they morphine you up and you just pass. You want them to actually guillotine your head.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to go out in style.
Well, you visit Mr. Frump in the hospital.
That's what I thought of too.
Drew, what do you think? If you're on life support, should they pull the plug?
Nah. I would, I'd rather be alive than dead. And even if I'm in a coma for 20 years, I bet I'll have some kick-ass thoughts and cool-ass dreams in that time, so I'd be fine with it. So, no, I'd rather be alive.
I have a question, Drew. Do you stutter when you have thoughts in your head?
No.
When you're thinking ahead, you're thinking, should I have chicken or steak?
Oh, man, and chicken and steak right now.
And by the way, my comments here are in no way legally binding. So do not take this for anything. I'll have my own lawyers make up my own.
No, this is legit, brother. I mean, if I'm ever in an iron
now.
lung, they're
Is
going
this
to
why-
chop off my head now.
Is this why you guys had me put my hand on a Bible before we started the podcast?
No, that was for something else.
I'm pretty sure it was an episode of, I don't know, Guts or something.
It sounds like I thought you were talking about that this premise happened at something. I was going to say this sounds like something from like Curb Your Enthusiasm. When you said guts, I'm like, I really don't remember somebody having a DNR. When it
No,
comes
I
to
mean like
guts.
we have like a VHS of guts, and that's what he had to swear on because who here cares about swearing on a Bible?
Yeah,
Oh.
you got to swear on no
Well, would it be guts or global guts?
global.
Well, let's see. If I was okay, one exception. If you were to take me off life support, you gotta push me off the aggro Craig.
That's
Well,
a long way down, man.
I know. That's why I'd die. My head will just pierce on one of the fucking sharp objects, or hit one of the rocks on the way down.
Yeah, but see, like if you cut off the head of a chicken, it still kind of like flaps around and stuff. So Peyton, if you had your head cut off, you don't know if you'd really still be just alive for an extra couple
No,
seconds.
I'm
If
not
you
a
get pushed
chicken.
off that aggro crag, you're done.
Well-
I'm not a chicken.
Well, see, you know how you're supposed to hit each button on the way up. If you miss one, they push you off and you die.
The temple guards from Legends of the Hidden Temple come out, and somehow they live in the mountain too.
Well, if we're talking about the ways that an 11-year-old would want to die, you can kill me by giving you can give me Pop Rocks and Coca-Cola, and that's the way you can finish me off.
Those rocks, you know where they're made from? Fucking aggro crag.
God damn it!
Can you just like stuff my mouth full of ice cream?
And
I'll
you
die
just
that
choke
way.
on it.
Yeah.
And then chop it off.
So, do you guys want to know?
And
how
then eat
center
the
of
ice
my
cream
head-
out of my head that's been stuffed in there. It's great. And then there's a practical use for my body when we're done too.
Imagine that
Great.
being in somebody's will. It's like, we have a do not resuscitate, but you have to eat ice cream out of my head. And they're like, well, I don't want to be the one that kills them. I don't want to eat any ice cream. You just end up living like forever because nobody wants to be the one that bites the bullet. Terrible. Now I want to watch some Global Guts. I'm wearing my Legends of Hidden Temple shirt today too, though, by the way. So awesome.
Nice.
Our final mailbag question is from Metsman339. Got this right under the wire before we started recording. He says, if you could take a finisher from anybody working in WWE or NXT from now or the past, what would it be? Also, what is your least favorite move of all time? And I'm going to go with the same answer for both of these. MVP's Playmaker. Because it's terrible, and it looks like it wouldn't hurt in the slightest bit. So fuck the whole, like, I'm taking a power bomb or something like that. I ain't doing that. Nobody's slamming me down for that reason. Give me the Playmaker where I just basically sort of lay down and get comfortable. And that's my least favorite move that I could think of, because it's just utter garbage. I hate every part about it. Makes no sense whatsoever. And I don't know why anybody, when they were doing that, looked at MVP's Playmaker and said, that should be a finishing move.
So
Instead of going, dude, did you just fuck up? Because it always looked like he did.
So wait, so I would take the finishing move, as in I would be.
You would be like, they would be doing the move to you, like if like Austin did a stunner to you, or
Oh well, this one's real easy. I want AJ Lee to do that move where she wraps her legs all over me and then I tap her butt.
that's a good choice. That was the MVP Playmaker. Or didn't one of them used to do the Bronco Buster?
I think like Tori did that,
All right, I'll take that one.
but I don't mean like the cool Tori. I mean like the Tori that used to be with X-Pac.
Well, it's still better than the MVP Playmaker.
I'm
I don't know,
thinking-
man. You know what they say about that girl? They say Kane's got a shot with her, so I wouldn't go there.
I'm thinking if I had to be in actual seriousness of an actual move that isn't about some lady touching me in some way, I think I'm gonna go with I would always, if I ever got to take a super kick from Shawn Michaels, I would tell everyone that. So I think I'd take that one.
All you gotta do is walk backstage.
Well, there's not many instances when we're walking backstage and Shawn Michaels is behind the curtains ready to super kick me. So,
That happens all the time for me.
well,
Tell you what,
yeah,
I
video of
wouldn't
it?
take. Wouldn't take a bonsai drop from Yokozuna,
Ooh, fuck no. Not even if you paid me.
or for that matter, a stink face. That's probably the last move I would ever take. A stink face.
Hmm.
It's not even a
Actually-
painful move. It's just fucking gross.
You know, I would never take a pump handle slam from Road Dogg.
Or like a cross-faced chicken wing.
Well,
If
no,
he's, like,
because
actually
Road Dogg
trying to
always
hurt
did
you.
that like humping motion whenever he did that pump handle slam.
Yeah, I wouldn't want him humping me.
It's weird because he's such a homophobe, and then he does that.
Like, isn't DX like supposed to be the gayest thing ever? Because they tell you to suck it,
DX?
and if
Well, I mean,
you
they
don't
kind
like
of are.
it,
Like, they had jerseys
suck
that said
it.
like 69 on it and shit. Like,
No, you suck it, and if you're not down with that, you suck it.
They
yeah,
did
so no
eat,
matter what, you're sucking it.
They did eat some of the sausages that they had that one time, right?
Especially China's.
This is such a weird sidetrack conversation. Kaylin, what finisher would you take, and what's your least favorite move of all time?
If I could have somebody perform a finisher on me, I was kind of tricky thinking about this one. At first, I was thinking Jeff Hardy's Swanton Bomb because I like that one, but I would just be laying there. I wouldn't be participating that much. And then I was thinking from one of my favorites, my All-American hero, Kurt Angle, the Angle Slam. I'd go for a ride with that one. But I don't know. This is a tricky one. I think I'm going to have to go with getting a Tombstone Pile Driver from The Undertaker.
Not Owen Hart, right?
What's that?
Not Owen Hart.
No.
If I want to take a move that wasn't gonna hurt me, I would just do John Morrison's Starship Pain because he never hits it. He just hits his hands just hit my chest.
And then what was the other part of that? Our least favorite finishing move or least favorite move?
Least favorite move of all time.
The one I like this move, but every time I see it, it makes me roll my eyes because of the setup. It's so ridiculous. And that's Rey Mysterio 619.
Oh, that's a good choice.
It's like you never see anybody fall in the ropes that way in any other match ever. But every time somebody's in a match with Rey Mysterio, they're always on the second rope like that. And it's like, really? It's just because it's so unbelievable.
What's wrong with the first row, man? What is it gonna be the second one?
That's right, man.
If I had to pick a least favorite move, it'd probably be Christian's spear or Christian's frog splash. Or any move that Christian did that is based on someone else. So, like, all of his moves.
Penny, did you say your least favorite?
Maybe a heart punch.
No, Hard Punch is cool. I would probably actually go with something more like a 5-knuckle shuffle.
Or the worm?
Well, he's pumping him up. The worm is badass, Tony.
Yeah, don't talk smack about the worm. Come on.
Dude, someone who should be in the Hall of Fame someday. Scotty Too Hottie.
Well, those are the mailbag questions you guys have sent in. Thank you all for sending them in. Start sending in some other ones for next month. I'm not sure when we're going to do that 100% because we got all this WrestleMania stuff coming up and we got to do different things based off of that. But probably towards the end of the month, maybe like the 27th or so, that's when we'll probably get around to it. So you got a little bit of time, but if you have any on your mind, send them my way. I'll backlog them and we'll answer them when the time comes around. But we have one more thing left to do for this episode, which is going to be the Fantasy League in Part 5.